This is a short introductory tour around the beaplaywright.com site. It aims to give a flavour of the student's learning experience as well as preview some of the unique aspects of the resources available for the aspiring playwright. Once you enrol, you will get a unique username and password to log on to the course. You will also be given a home page that you can personalise by uploading a picture to represent yourself. You also have the ability to update your status, view your progress on the course, and see who else is online. The course has been specifically written by myself, Jez Casey, Literary Manager at Live Theatre, and my predecessor, Jeremy Herrin, now Deputy Artistic Director at the Royal Court. The course is designed to be a straightforward, step-by-step guide to the craft of playwriting. In each of the 5 modules, you're taken through a number of specially tailored exercises on a particular aspect of writing plays, culminating in a bridging exercise which you can submit for expert feedback to the literary department at the theatre. In addition to the text, the course also features exclusive interviews with award-winning playwrights offering their own perspectives on the subject under discussion. These writers include Lee Hall, Sheila Stevenson, Alan Plater and Polly Stenham. Let's take a closer look at a couple of the course modules. The opening module, Making a Start, introduces the student to the outline of the course and gives an idea of what to expect as they progress. The modules refer to 6 playtexts, chosen for their usefulness in illustrating different elements of the craft of playwriting. This page has links to podcast discussions about these plays. It asks students to do a skills audit about their own writing ability. Students are encouraged to organise their time so that writing becomes part of their regular routine, and how writing plays differs from other forms of creative writing. The interviews provide a whole range of approaches from established playwrights about how they develop their work and some of the difficulties that they have to overcome.
I would say whatever you write, especially if you're new to writing, you should get together with people and do. Whether it's in your living room and you get, your mum, dad and Auntie Irene to do it, or better still, get some people your own age who might understand what you're up to, and try it out, because I think that once you sit, it really is. It's not a poem. It has no literary relevance in itself. It's a kind of very curious form, writing a play. It only makes sense if people can do it. And you learn much more by hearing somebody do it, even if it is Auntie Irene, than reading it off the page.
I think basically you probably just sit at your desk till your head bleeds, really. That's probably what the key is. And it's all right if you can't do it. I think that's what you have to own, the bits where you can't do it, where you just think, I don't know how to do this. I can't write any single play I've ever written. There's a point where I can't write it. And then I phone up my agent and tell her I can't write plays anymore and I'm going to bed. I'm always going to bed. Or I can't write this play and I've given up and it's all gone horribly wrong and this is the 3rd draft and it's worse. And she's just, she just says, you always do this. Do you remember you always do this?
I personally don't get one clear idea. I really envy people who get one clear idea, but I don't. I think the best way to describe it, and this is nicking it totally from another writer, Philip Ridley, is it's like a backwards explosion. And you start with lots of little bits of detritus, and then it kind of pulls back into something more singular. So I can't really answer that question because it's not the one thing, really. I don't think.
So when you sit down to write, or when you sit down to apply yourself to this idea, what do? I
just sort of freestyle. I know that's a weird word, but I just sort of write anything that comes into my mind and write lots and lots and lots and listen to lots of music and do lots of drawings and kind of gather and forage and then stop and look at what I have and then peel away and then do it again and then peel it away, and then eventually, it's a very long process for me. Other writers write quicker, I think. I get to see what I really meant all along. But perhaps you become clearer about that with maturity, but I don't know.
With the variety of experiences on offer, it's hoped that each student will pick out the bits of advice that they feel is relevant to how they want to write. The module goes on to detail strategies for starting scripts and how to decide what to write about. These exercises can be saved in your own electronic journal. This journal can be used for your own notes and observations during the modules. You can also share your work and the journal with your fellow students within the discussion forum. Here you can become part of an online community of aspiring playwrights. You can also connect with the course tutor and fellow students through live chat, an online conversation which takes place every 2 weeks. Here you can discuss your work or any aspects of the course that you want to talk about with other students. The first module culminates in a bridging exercise that gets students thinking about creating characters at a turning point in their lives, at a time of change that might be dramatically interesting. The second module is concerned with structure, how to order your material for maximum dramatic effect. The theories behind the traditional models of 5- and 3-act structures are illustrated and evaluated. There are discussions about identifying the point of attack, inciting incident, plot turning points, and the climax of a story, and what other structural choices are available to the playwright. Students are encouraged through exercises to consider what an audience needs to know about a story and how and when these details can be revealed. In addition, the structure of individual scenes is considered in relation to creating conflict between character motivation and obstacles jeopardizing their wishes. Again, there are a range of observations from playwrights to add different perspectives to this aspect of stagecraft. Here is Lee Hall talking about the structure of Billy Elliot, the musical.
Once I've got a rough idea of these two ideas or the landscape of it, I get a huge bit of paper and then I just free associate. And I think that, well, if I'm going to tell a play about a boy who does ballet in a pit village, I think, well, he's going to have to talk to his teacher. So I write a scene between the boy and his teacher. And his dad's going to find out and he's going to have an argument with him. All right, argument with the dad. And by the end of like an hour, if you ask that basic question, what's going to happen in any given scenario? And you probably end up with 20 or 30 different ideas for scenes. And when I went back recently to do my old papers, I found that sheet of Billy Elliot, and every single scene that's in the musical now is on that bit of paper, because it's bleeding obvious. Do you know what I mean? It's not like rocket science. You think he's got to talk to somebody, he's got to talk to his little mate, and he's going to ask him the question. Then I start to organise and see, well, if I've got all these things, what's going to happen first? Is he going to have an argument with his dad first, or is he going to talk to the teacher? And then asking those really dumb questions, you start to find the implied narrative. And quite often, you'll change it as you go later on, but you can start to see, and then I literally draw it, so he sees his mum, and then he goes down to that, and he goes down to that, and then sometimes you don't know you can't decide whether this should come before that, and I've got these alternative timelines and stuff. So by the end of that process, I know what my scenes are going. I'm thinking about the characters all the time, although I'm not really. I'm looking at the structure, but a lot of the questions about the characters are answered by what I've discovered on my timeline, as it were, because we know that his dad's going to have to be a certain type of dad, so he can have the argument with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not going to be the type of liberal dad who's taking him to the ballet lessons. Obviously, he's going to have to be something else. So loads of questions will start getting answered without you having to actually think about them and invent them.
And Alan Plater using a musical motif.
I don't have methods. I have a rough idea of where I'm going. And I compare it a little bit to a 12-bar blues or a 32-bar popular song. I know what the main theme is. I know what the tune is. And I know where I have to be by then. But I don't know exactly what the character's going to say. And frequently a character will walk in and will say something slightly unexpected. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Let's follow that, see where it leads. That might be more interesting than what I was planning to do.
By contrast, Anthony Nielsen talks about finding his structure in a different way.
Well, most of my plays are semi-devised, so I will usually start with a very small piece of an idea, maybe not even that, and go into a rehearsal period with a group of actors. And tell us a bit about that process then. What happens next? Okay, well, depending on how much of the play that I have, I might go into a rehearsal period with 10, 20 pages. I might go in with nothing. I might go in with just an idea, sometimes not even an idea. I'll basically sit and talk to the actors, maybe show them what I have, throw some ideas around, hear what they think of it, and then eventually we'll settle on an idea, move forward. I'll start to bring in pages of script which the actors will read, and I'll watch and listen to them reading it. I'll try to respond to it as if I'm a punter, as a member of the audience, try and hear it as I would hear it in the theatre. When they get that material, they respond to it as well. I don't really let them read it beforehand, they just read it out loud so I can see their responses to it. And basically what happens, rather than them improvising and me transcribing dialogue that they've come up with, I'll really just hear their feedback on it, see what plays with them. What happens is that the makeup of the cast and who they are really affect where I am next going to take the play.
Further modules concentrate on characterisation, dialogue and theatricality, with the final session dealing with rewriting, overcoming writer's block and strategies for getting your play produced. The final module also provides you with an opportunity to submit a full-length play that you have written as a result of the skills gathered on the course. The script will be looked at by a team of experienced readers and will receive a full critique and feedback from the Live Theatre Literary Department, with advice on the next steps for the work and for your development. The solo version of the course is also available. This contains the contents of the course, the exercises and interviews, but without the elements of feedback, advice, and full access to the discussion forum. To enrol on the course, visit the beaplaywright.com homepage and click on the Sign Up button.